Well, my top rated book on confidence is called The Super You. I'm sending it to you, physical book, free. Go to the link down there. You got it.
DreAllDay.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, congratulate yourself for tuning into the show where you learn the discipline of showing up day after day to do the work, the confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there, even when you've expected to achieve a certain level of success which you have yet to reach. And on top of this, you're going to become a go-getter, a person who goes and makes things happen instead of waiting for things to happen through the skill, personal initiative. Putting all this together, you get the mindset, the method, the podcast called Work on Your Game. My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day. Today's topic is, what do you need to make it? If you want to make it in life, quote unquote, make it, what are the elements that you need to have in place? If you didn't know, there are certain elements you need to have in place to make it in anything. I'm talking about if you want to make it in medicine, you want to make it in sports, you want to make it in podcasting, you want to make it in Instagramming, you want to make it in whatever else, whatever it is you're trying to get to. You want to be a rapper, you want to start your own business, you're trying to get into a certain profession, anything that you want to make it, whatever you consider making it to mean, whether that means reaching a certain title, making a certain amount of money, having a certain amount of attention, a certain amount of recognition amongst your peers or amongst the peanut gallery or amongst the fans or amongst the general public, or getting on the cover of a magazine. Whatever it is you consider making it, there are certain things you will need in place in order to do that. That's what we're going to talk about here today. There is a winning combination. Some items which you can control a lot more than you can control others. But I'm going to tell you what all those items are. The ones that you can control the most, the ones you can control the least, and what you may need to do about these things and how you can put them all together to get this winning combination. Kind of like opening a combination lock. But it's a little bit more than 3 items though. So let's get right into it. What you need to make it in anything you do in life. Number one thing you need, and these are, I'm going to say that they're in a particular order, but not really, because you need all of them equally, but you can weigh them as you wish. Number one, you need skill. All right, this podcast is called Work on Your Game. When I talk about game, I'm talking about your skill, your ability to actually do the thing. Skill is a practiced ability. Simple as that. If you practice it, you are deliberately trying to get better at it, and you do get better, that's skill. That's development of skill. You need that to make it in anything you do. Now, this one you can control to a large extent, but you do not control this 100%. Contrary to popular opinion. Contrary to popular belief, you do not control your skill 100%, or you do not control, let me rephrase that, you don't control the exertion of your skill. You don't control the performance of your skill 100%. Just because you have a super high level of skill alone, that does not necessarily mean you're going to make it, or that you're going to get the type of opportunity that you feel you are entitled to because of your skill level or because of the work that you put in. And let me explain exactly what I mean. For example, if you are a 5'5" tall basketball player, and let's say you're a male, 5 feet 5 inches tall, your ability to finish at the rim, finishing around the basket, whether you all kinds of layups and floaters, maybe you're 5'5" and you can dunk because you can jump really high, your ability to finish at the rim will be limited by your size, as opposed to, let's say, a 6'10" guy who's trying to finish around the rim the exact same way. He's going to make more shots around the basket than you are in a 5-on-5 game, simply because of his height. There's a certain element that he has, being height, that you don't have, that even though you may have practiced more of it, you may have more different ways of doing it than he has, he's still going to score more points around the basket than you. It's going to appear, at least to the people who are judging performance, that he has more finishing around the basket skill than you have, even though you may have put more work in, even though you may have more variance in your ways of actually performing that task. He's going to do it more than you're doing it. He's going to have more performance than you have. So even though you can control how much you practice, you may not be able to control how much, let's just say, exposure you get for your skill based on some other elements. So this first element of skill can be the way that people see your skill can be compromised by some of these other elements that you're going to need to make it in life. So let's get to the rest of those, so you understand that even though you control your practice of your skill, you may not be able to show it all the time. And again, today's topic is what you need to make it in life. Point number 2, you need talent. You need talent to make it. Now, in the example that I just gave you, a 5'5" player compared to a 6'10" player, the 6'10" player has a whole lot more talent than the 5'5" guy. And you don't know anything about either of these guys' games. I'm telling you, he has more talent, at least when it comes to basketball, because in basketball, size is a skill. In basketball, size is a very positive attribute. A 6'10" guy is going to get more opportunity to play basketball than a 5'5" guy is, period. Why? Because in basketball, height is a talent. Now, in other things, maybe height's not a talent. Maybe in horseback riding, or if you want to join the Marines and you want to ride in submarines, being 6'10" is not a talent. It's going to work against you. But in basketball, it's going to work for you. So depending on what you're doing, different attributes are measured different ways when it comes to what talent you're bringing to the table. God, how I'm using talent, I'm going to give a definition that I'm giving you here is God-given ability that you did not train for, you did not practice for, you didn't strategize for. It's just something that you have. And height is a God-given ability when it comes to playing specifically the sport of basketball. In sports and entertainment, these are the places, ladies and gentlemen, we can most readily see talent, right? Because they're on display. We sit and watch these things. We do these things as spectator sports. We listen to music and we debate what rapper is better than what rapper. We go to concerts and listen to singers sing. We watch basketball games and debate over the NBA finals or which player is better than which player or who should make Team USA or whatever it is. We watch these people so often. That's why in sports and entertainment, talent is so readily obvious. We can see who has the talent and who doesn't have the talent. We can even debate it. But understand, there's talent in every profession. There are talented doctors, there are talented writers, talented salespeople, talented YouTubers, talented podcasters. There's talent in all of these places. So the second thing that you need, not even number two, because I don't even want to weight these. None of these is weighted heavier than any of the others. You need skill, but you also need some talent. Some God-given ability in what you're doing. Are you doing something that you actually have God-given ability for, or are you not? And you should be able to answer that question. For one, because you should know yourself and what you're doing. And for two, I've asked you that question in probably about 15 different episodes of this podcast, depending on what the topic was. So you need to actually have an answer to that question. Number three thing you need, and today's topic is what you need to make it, quote unquote, in life. You need timing to make it. Yes, timing, meaning being in the right place at the right time with the right skills around the right people. Let me tell you what that timing is again, just to make sure you got all of them, because you need all of these. Timing is a part of making it in life, very much. And anyone who's listening to this, I should have said this at the top of the episode. Anyone listening to this, if you feel like you're in a profession or in a role right now where you have quote unquote made it, maybe you're not exactly where you want to be now, but you're doing something that there are people who look up to you, or people who praise you, or people who admire you because of the position that you have. And I know there are a lot of you who are listening to this who are in that position, because I've spoken to you directly. You fact check me on these things that I'm saying. Number one, you needed some skill, right? You needed some talent. You got to have some God-given ability for what you're doing. Number three, you had some timing. Some timing worked in your favor. And there's an interesting thing about timing. I'm going to get to that in a moment. Let me repeat one more time what I mean when I say timing. It means you are in the right place, around the right people, with the right skills at the right time. That's what I mean when I say timing here today. And interesting thing about timing, ladies and gentlemen, especially those of you, and actually I'm speaking to everyone, those of you who have not come close to making it the way that you want to make it, and those of you who are already well on your path to making it, maybe you're only one step away, maybe you're only one phone call away from making it to where you really want to be right now. And you know that if you are that person, you know that that's what I'm talking about. Is sometimes we kind of discredit ourselves when we consider timing. Right, we discredit ourselves by saying, well, yeah, I was in LA and I was talking to my friend at the coffee shop, and this guy at the next table just overheard me, and he passed me a business card, and I called him, and he connected me with this person who knew this person, and then I ended up having my dream job. That was timing. Right, now, you had to have some skill in order to make that thing work, right? You had to have some talent so that when they connected you with the person who they connected you with, and they connected you to the next person, you actually had something to show that made that person interested in you. But because the timing was so, maybe I guess we'll call it serendipitous, you didn't really strategize for it. It just kind of happened that way. And oftentimes in life, this is how we end up in places. Some things just happen in certain ways that we weren't planning. We didn't know it was going to come, but it came, and for whatever reason, we were prepared for it. And then we were able to capitalize on this situation. We kind of discredit ourselves as if the timing was just this stroke of luck that we were not worthy of. as if the timing was something that could have happened to anybody. Had it not happened, we never would have gotten to the position that we're in. Now, we'll never know because of the butterfly effect, right? You can't go back and unflap the wings of the butterfly. We won't know what would have happened if the timing hadn't been what the timing was. But listen, if you didn't have the skill, if you didn't have the ability, if you didn't have the talent, if you did not have the preparation in place, the timing would not have mattered. And understand that there have been many times in your life, everyone, I'm talking to those of you who have made it, those of you who are close to making it, and those of you who don't even know what it is you want to make when it comes to making it. You don't even know where making it would be for you just yet, and that's completely fine for now. Understand that if you did not have the skill in place, if you did not have the God-given ability, if you were not trying, if you were not looking for that opportunity, it could have passed you by. You would not have even seen it. It was there, but you wouldn't have even seen it because you weren't looking, because your skills weren't prepared for it. Your talent wasn't angled towards it. You wouldn't have even noticed that the timing was right when the timing actually was right. And there are probably other times in your life, those of you who have made it, where the timing was perfect for you to have done something else that you didn't want to do. And since you didn't want to do it, you weren't training for it. You didn't have the talent for it. You didn't have the skill for it. You weren't thinking about it. You didn't even notice that the timing was right for that thing, because that thing was not the thing for you. But the thing that was for you, the timing was perfect for it, and you got there. So I'm saying all that to say, do not discredit yourself just because timing happened to work in your favor, or you think you got lucky when it came to timing. That's part of the game. All right, timing being right is part of the game of making it. So what I'm saying here with timing, back to my topic here, is, and again, today's topic is what you need in order to make it in life. You can sometimes strategize for timing in some ways, but not in every way. Sometimes things just happen, right? Sometimes things just happen for us. The right person, again, in the right place with the right skills, and you just happen to be there, and things just happen to work out for you. I guess we can say a lot of timing has a whole lot to do with point number 4. And I think all of you kind of already know what point number 4 is. If you're listening closely, is luck. Number 4 thing in today's topic, what you need to quote unquote make it in life, you need luck. Yes, you need luck. You do not want luck. It wouldn't be great if luck came along. You're not saying, okay, well, if luck happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. No. You need luck in order to make it in life. And yes, luck can be created. We just talked about this in episode number 840, how to create your own luck. What are the things you need to do to get luck working in your favor, even if it hasn't been to this point? So if you haven't heard episode 840, go back and listen to episode 840. Sometimes, just like timing, things just happen. Sometimes things just happen. I told you in previous episodes of the show, my mother is 5 feet 7 inches tall. My father is 5 feet 8, maybe 5 feet 9. I'm 6 feet 4 inches tall. That was luck. No plan, no strategy. There was no gene pool manipulation, none of that. All right, there are no exercises to make yourself grow taller that I just did a whole lot of. It's not drinking milk. Remember, those of y'all who are old enough to remember they used to have the commercials about drinking milk, and it was supposed to make you bigger and stronger and taller. What happened to those commercials? What happened is we got new knowledge and realized it was all garbage, right? But my height was luck. Okay, I ended up at Penn State, Altoona. I wasn't even trying to go to Penn State, Altoona. I wasn't even trying to go to Penn State, period. I had a half scholarship to go to Morehouse College in Atlanta, Georgia. Even with half of the tuition paid for, the other half was still too much money. My parents said, we can't afford that. Look, you already got accepted into Penn State. I got accepted into Penn State's main campus coming out of high school. They said, well, instead of going to the main campus, go to the Abington campus, which is right outside of Philly, 20 minutes from Mount Airy, where I'm from. You can go there. You can live at home. I mean, home. I lived at home my freshman year of college. And then after a year or two, then we can figure out what we're going to do. That was my mom's halfway suggestion, but halfway directive, if you know what I'm talking about. So I ended up going to Penn State, Abington, was working on my game in the summertime. A guy named Kenny Macklin ran up on me in the summer when I was walking around the cafeteria at Penn State Abington's campus. He wasn't even on a basketball recruiting trip. He was out doing something else, and he just happened to see me walk by, and then he just walked up on me and started talking to me about basketball. What is that, people? That's luck. But how did I get lucky? How did I get lucky in that situation? The timing was good. How was the timing good? He happened to be in the cafeteria at Penn State Abington's campus in a day in the summertime. Ladies and gentlemen, I wasn't even taking summer classes. Why was I on campus? I was on campus because I went to the gym every single day at Penn State Abington to work on my game by myself. That particular day, I happened to not eat breakfast at home, so I went to the cafeteria to buy some food for breakfast. That's when I ran into Kenny Macklin. I didn't even meet him on the basketball court. I met him in the cafeteria. Now, is that dumb luck? Is that amazing, incredible timing that happened to this serendipitous moment that changed the direction of my life? Absolutely it is, in every single area. But if I hadn't been working on my game, none of that would have happened. So I take credit for it. Do you understand? I was working on my skill. I was honing my talents as a basketball player, me being 6'4", and the timing worked, the luck worked, and then everything, and as they say, the rest became history. So that was luck. I ended up at Penn State, Altoona. I got recruited there by Kenny Macklin. I still, at this point, I wanted to go play overseas. I knew that I probably wasn't going to get drafted into the NBA. I was probably going to have to take my career abroad to play overseas. I didn't know a damn thing about playing basketball overseas. How was I going to play overseas? Where do I go? How do I get people to know me? How do I get an agent? Nobody at Abington had played overseas. Nobody could tell me anything about playing overseas. So I get to Penn State, Altoona. I run into this guy named Wes Pfeiffer. Now, you heard Wes Pfeiffer. You met Wes Pfeiffer on episode number 714 of this podcast. You did not listen to that interview. Wes is a Division I college basketball coach, played overseas as well. Go listen to that interview. If you have not. That's dreallday.com/714. Wes Pfeiffer knew some people who have played overseas. He had some information that I did not have. He shared that information with me. That information, that little bit of information I got from Wes, a lot of information actually that I got from Wes, I used that information to leverage myself to getting into playing basketball overseas. Now, is that luck? Absolutely is luck. It's luck that he happened to be there. This guy's from Carolina. People from North Carolina do not end up at Penn State, Altoona. All right, Penn State, Altoona is a branch campus of Penn State University. Almost everybody who goes to these Penn State branch campuses come from somewhere in the state of Pennsylvania. This guy was from North Carolina, 7 hours away. You look at a map of the United States, they're not even next to each other. Okay? And do you think that's luck? Absolutely it's luck. Wes got there because he got recruited by a coach that replaced the coach who recruited me. The coach who recruited me got fired. You would consider that to be bad luck, right? Bad timing. I got recruited by Kenny Macklin in 2001. He got fired in 2002. A new coach came in. That's terrible luck and terrible timing for me because the coach who recruited me now is not there anymore. Which for a lot of athletes, that means your career at that school is pretty much over. New coach came in. I ended up getting kicked off the team the same day that I met Wes Pfeiffer. Is this amazing luck? Is this amazing time? Is it bad luck? Bad timing? You call it what you want to call it, but this is all luck. This is all timing. I ended up becoming friends with Wes. He gave me some information. We worked on our games together. He was a really good player. Iron sharpeth iron. All of these things were part of the timing, part of the confluence of events. But if I hadn't been working on my game, if I didn't have the talent, if I wasn't doing things, if I wasn't seeking ways to do something with my talent, with my skill, none of these things would have happened. And maybe if they did happen, none of them would have mattered because these same things happened to other people. They didn't matter to them. They didn't become anything. They didn't make anything out of these situations. So this is all luck that happened to me. You can call it good or bad, but it worked out. The fact that I came out of school just at the same time that this new website called YouTube.com was starting, and I happened to jump in and flood the market with all these videos that there are some people listening to this right now who first met me, quote unquote, through videos that I was putting on YouTube. And you found me because you maybe were looking for basketball on YouTube. You couldn't look for basketball on YouTube up till, let's say, 2013 without seeing my name. That's just a fact. And a lot of you know that. Now, is it just luck that I happened to be getting out of college and I was pretty good with video and I was working on my game every day at the same time that YouTube came out? Hell yeah, it was luck. But if I didn't have the skill, if I didn't have the foresight to say, hey, how about I just record something every day and just put it out and see what happens? There was no brand building back then. Google didn't even own YouTube back then. You couldn't make money from making YouTube videos back then. I wasn't doing it to get known. I wasn't trying to build a personal brand. We didn't even use that phrase back in 2005. All of this is timing. All of this was luck. So all of these things happen. If you look at your own life, you can connect the dots the same way that I'm connecting the dots right here. And this is all if y'all seen the movie Butterfly Effect, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't seen it, just Google the phrase butterfly effect and you'll understand exactly what I'm talking about. You don't have to watch the movie, but these little things, these timing things, these luck things that if you weren't looking, if you didn't have the skill, if you didn't have the talent, the same things could have happened and it wouldn't have meant anything to you. And understand that these things have happened in other areas of your life that mean nothing to you because you didn't do anything with them because you didn't care about those areas of your life. But these are the things that happen for you. You need luck in order for you to get to where you're going to get to if you don't understand that enough already. And point number 5, today's topic is, what are the things you need in place to make it in life? Here's a fact. Now, I've given you the 4 things. You need skill, you need talent, you need timing, you need luck. Here's a fact. Any one of these can make or break your situation. Any one of these could make or break you. There is no magic bullet for any of this stuff that I said. You know how to work on your skill. If you're already into something and you know what it is you're trying to make it in, you probably have a pretty solid idea of how to get better at it, right? And what the skills are that you need to develop. And if you don't, then listen, you have access to the internet. Go find that information. That's the easiest part, to at least know what to do. Doesn't mean you're going to do it. That's the easiest way to at least know what to do. When it comes to your talent, this is God-given ability. You just need to understand. You need to discover, uncover, identify what that talent is. When it comes to timing, there are ways you can get the timing right. Go to the places where things are happening. Be around the people who are actually doing stuff. Find out what the information is that you need to know, and make sure you know it cold. So when the opportunity comes, you're ready to do something with that information. I've already told you these things in previous episodes of this podcast. And when it comes to your luck, I just told you, episode number 840, what to do to create the luck that you need in your life. There's no magic bullet to make all of this stuff happen at the exact same time. But however, as I just mentioned, I've already made episodes on this podcast addressing every single area that I've talked about today. You want to get better at something? I've talked about that at least 50 times. You want to develop, identify, and then do something with your talent. You want to get timing working for you? How do you create luck? How do you do something about the luck that happens to happen to you? You know that there are ways for you to handle these things. You know there are things you can do about these things. And if you don't know, go to dreallday.com/podcast. Get all the information. Go through all the archives. I'm giving you the game. Okay, I'm giving the game to you. It's your job to go do something with it. Let's recap today's topic, which is what you need in life to make it in any area of life, anything you're going after. Number one, you need skill, which is practice, ability. You can control this, but not 100%, because it depends on how much. Number two, how much talent do you have? God-given ability that you did not train for. We all have talent. We all have talents that we need to be exploiting. If you're not exploiting your talent right now, you're wasting your time doing something else. Identify your talent and position yourself to best use your talent once you identify what that talent is. Number three, timing. Being in the right place, around the right people, with the right skills at the right time. All of those together equal timing. You can strategize for timing in some ways, but not always, because sometimes your timing is completely dependent on point number 4, which is luck. Luck is just, what is luck? Preparation, meeting opportunity. You got to be prepared with your skill, knowing what your talent is, trying to do your best to make timing work for you, meaning don't stay locked in the house all day. Go outside, metaphorically and literally. Go outside where things are happening so you can possibly have timing work for you, the opportunity. Make sure you're prepared by having your game right, and luck can start working for you. And point number 5 is that any one of these can make or break your chances. You can have all the skill, great amount of talent, and try to control timing, but if you have bad luck, you may not make it. You could be the luckiest person in the world with all the skill and a whole lot and great timing. You may even have the timing down perfect, but if you don't have much talent, you're not going to get the same opportunity as somebody else. If you have a whole lot of talent, the timing is perfect, and you get lucky when it comes to opportunities, but you have never practiced too much, you don't have a whole lot of skill, you're going to get passed by. See, you can have any 3 of these. If you missing the 4th, you're not going to get the thing that you want. So make sure you have all of these in place to the best of your ability. Work on your game. DreAllDay.com.